It's wonderful to welcome you here to the second annual Conversations at 34. It's just terrific to see you. What an amazing sea of faces. I'm Carla Kaplan, the founding director of the Humanities Center. It's my privilege to say a few words of introduction, and then I will turn the mic and then I will replay it. It's an exciting thing to gather here in the shadow of the old Boston literary salons, which were just down the street at the Parker House and the Old Corner Bookstore. Venues made famous for the, sorry about the feedback. Sound okay? Yes. Venues made famous for the lively social debates of white men with trisyllabic New England names. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, Oliver Wendell Holmes, Henry David Thoreau, and others. There? At the very end, but that's exactly my point. Until Margaret Fuller, that was Margaret Fuller, Blanche said, at the very end only. Until Margaret Fuller, their public sphere was not exactly public in the way we now use the word. Diverse, democratic, open. But ours is. We add a layer tonight and tomorrow when we offer a second version of this panel, open to everyone in Boston, to Boston's layered and complex history. The fact that the Parker House site of the former white men's only until Margaret Fuller Saturday Club, you have to watch it when Blanche is in the room, became the very place years later where Ho Chi Minh would work as a cook and Malcolm X as a busboy. Unfortunately, not at the same moment. We respect that we cannot know or control what those who come after us will make of our words and of our ideas. As the poet Adrienne Rich has put it, our words stand, become responsible for more than we intended. We live in perilous, dangerous, anxiety-producing times. To some, that makes the arts and critical exchange seem superfluous. And indeed, we are all aware of how spare funding for the interpretive disciplines has become. But even as we witness an economic crisis deepen in and for the humanities, and everyone's been reading about it endlessly, I know, we also see from Wall Street's collapse a desperate need not only for more discussion of ethics and empathy, but more training in basic economics as well. The healthcare debate reminded us all of how deeply the nation needs historians and artists to help us critically reflect on the meaning of our own history and past choices. I am proud to be part of a university which embraces a social mission and emphasizes education for social solutions, even as it also insists, and this is the crucial thing, that it is now more, not less urgent, to invest in the humanities, social sciences, and liberal arts. To talk about how we talk about one another, how we think about one another, the kinds of stories we tell about our lives and the lives of others, and how those stories get used, passed on, picked up, and also sometimes ignored. The life stories we tell and the life stories we do not tell reflect what we value. That is why debate has swirled around making Fabienne Gion, I'm sure I'm saying her name wrong, Fabienne Gion, the beautiful Haitian dancer who lost her leg in the earthquake, a spokeswoman for the tragedy in Haiti, when, in a most unusual circumstance, both Mount Sinai Hospital and New England Brace are vying for her health care, something that most Haitians do not have. This is why so much thought goes into which life stories from New Orleans, or Guantanamo, or Wall Street, or Gaza, or Iraq, or Roxbury might have the power to get us to challenge and maybe even change the value we place on one another's lives. Tonight we have a panel of unusually skilled and thoughtful practitioners of varied arts of telling life stories, each of whom has pioneered, indeed truly invented, techniques which translate life stories from one language to another, from one art form to another. Such translations are especially and unusually powerful. They reveal how historically and culturally determined our attempts to understand one another can be, and they provide clues of where real bridges between us might be built. With biography outselling every other genre of literature and providing mind candy in things like People magazine, television, radio, and the web, tonight's panelists remind us of the other end of the spectrum, how life stories still generate criticism and change lives. Tonight's panel is very special in the way that each panelist in different arts has pioneered a combination of engaging life story and critical self-reflection. We wouldn't be here tonight without the work of a lot of people behind the scenes, and I need to thank them. First, I want to thank you for being here and for recognizing the importance of our coming together for real conversation. I want to thank the panel for being here, where this is a panel of people who do not usually or necessarily participate in panel discussions, and it was extremely generous of them to do so. I want to thank Northeastern University, especially the Provost's Office, for funding our innovative program of artists and practitioners in residence, and the college for ongoing support of every kind, especially through our interim dean, Bruce Ronkin, who
is over there.
I saw. I want to thank my associate directors, Amilcar Barreto and Kumarini Silva, our phenomenal staff, Nikisha Cody, Allison Rodriguez, and Jen Sapchachkai, without whom really, I don't think I'd get out of the house. The advisory boards of the Humanities Center and the Artists and Practitioners in Residence program. But most especially, I want to thank the Aouns for being exemplary intellectual and civic leaders, for believing in the really big questions and insisting that we keep asking them, and for offering their home again for this very, very special evening. So before introducing the panelists, I'd like to turn the mic over to Northeastern University's president, your host, President Joseph Aoun.
It's always better to be behind Carla instead of being ahead of Carla. I can't succeed by being ahead of you, Carla, but my wife Zena over there, who is over there, and I would like to welcome you here. We chose, after considerable discussions with Carla, the notion of conversation rather than salon, for a simple reason that over the years there was a big difference that creeped up and became part of our reality. I was raised with the idea that high culture is there and low culture is here. And in fact, some of my colleagues like Nancy and Leo over the years, and certainly Carla, taught me that in fact this dichotomy between high culture and low culture has really disappeared. And that's why we moved from salon to conversation. But there is another aspect, in fact, that also Carla mentioned. We all hear that the humanities are in trouble. And in fact, indeed they are. But it's not a question of funding only. I think in many ways, we made ourselves non-relevant. In many ways. We spent a lot of time deconstructing rather than reflecting. And for my colleagues, I chose the term on purpose because it has another connotation. Deconstruction has another connotation. And we moved away from becoming relevant. We in fact allowed many of the discourses and the discussions to be hijacked. We said, oh, religion, we don't want to discuss religion. We brought this distinction between religion and state to our own thinking, and we allowed the discourse about religion to be hijacked by extremists. Universities became very uncomfortable with the notion of studying religion. We became very uncomfortable with talking about various social topics that are of great importance to society. You can choose anyone that you want. Stem cell, I can just start with a list. The concept of race and identity last year. And this is what distinguishes what Carla is doing and the panelists here, because in fact they took a very different attitude about that. They made and they make humanities relevant on a daily basis. And the relevance is not only for our students, it's not only for each other, but also for the public at large, for all of us. And that's why I'm very grateful. And Zena and I are privileged to host this event here tonight because frankly, they are the future of the humanities. Thank you.